Hello and welcome to the first live stream for almost 3 months, since the 20th of September. Apologies you've had to wait for so long, and you may remember this. This is from the last live stream I did, and I haven't finished it yet. That is appalling. My apologies. Right, so first of all, greetings everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in yes, what I have to say is very, very short notice. So quite a lot of you in, which is brilliant. Hi, Barry. Hello, Brian. Wood Dude. Keith. Nice to see you, Keith. Kevin. Two Brians. And Gav. Hello, Gav. And Wayne. Hello, Wayne. Really enjoyed doing I think earworming it's called, with Wayne and Mark for Stephen Curville the other week. And, oh, Roger, where have I been, sunshine? Drowning under 1,700 children, trying to keep them in 5 different year group bubbles and wondering how that is even remotely possible anywhere in the known universe. Teenagers will find any way around any rule, won't they? And evening, Hugh. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday lunch. Brian again, Trevor, Fred. Hello. Hi, Stuart down in Bristol. You're all rugbyed out, so time for some colour turning and inspiration. Okay, I'll see what I can do. I've made the very strange decision to start dunking bits of wood in, well, it's not cold water, it's tepid water. Yeah, wrong time of year for that, that's for sure. And Pietro, ciao. Hi, ci sono anch'io. I think that means I'm also here. Ciao, Pietro. And William, hello, Radio Face. Epoxy Wood, hello. Hi, Alicia. And Steve, hello. Right. I've got a little bit of a different setup now. If I come onto this other camera, part of what I've been doing, there you are, is getting this lathe, my Vic Mark, into position after I'd sold my Wivermac. It was a bit greedy having 2 lathes, and I kind of thought it would give me a bit more room. But what you can also see is I've got some camcorders now, so I'm able to at last have some more flexibility, so I can zoom in and you can see, look at that beautiful turning. No tool marks there, but I probably need a manicure. Hopefully that's showing up nice and clear on your screens, and zooming out goes quite wide. I've also done that with an overhead camera, and what you've got here is a shot of what I'm going to be doing this evening. A little bit of turning, and I aim to be finished by 6 o'clock. Going to play around with marbling inks. These are, just float them on water. You don't need to have any special additives for the water. These are just practicing on MDF. This is it over some black lacquer. So I've done some preparation. Here's another one. Lovely. What I like about this, I haven't really got the getting it right over black lacquer yet. So there's room for things to go wrong this evening, this afternoon, or sort of in that, on the cusp, aren't we, between afternoon and evening. I think the one I prefer the most though is over bare wood. So I've got a few bits prepared, and as I was saying, this can zoom in and out as well, so you can have a broader view. I probably should have set some cameras up on my bench for doing the marbling, but I'm going to do it on the lathe bed, which I will protect. As I say, I've got a few bits already prepared. These 2 little bowls. This poor bit of wood has had lots of different treatments. This was last seen with some spirit stains on, and was my spirit stain version of this kind of finishing technique. Or colouring technique, I suppose I should say. And this one, well, got a bit too much lacquer on there. You might be able to see those lovely little lines. Just added texture. It's not the warmest of workshops, so we need warmth really for doing that kind of stuff. So I'll put those over there. I'm just going to quickly finish turning the outside of this, so I've got some plain wood to go in. And these are a whole load. I bought a whole load of 6x2 blanks, I think from Styles and Bates, in beech and sycamore, which this one is. And I got them all prepped ready, drilling holes in to put them on a chuck and turn them. And I think I've had them for about 18 months. So let's get on with this. I'm going to just put a little bit of shape on here. I'm not going to worry too much about the foot. And going to be using my 3/8 bowl gouge. You can see I've already done a little bit of shaping of it anyway, but I'm just going to put a nicer curve on there. So let's get this done. Make sure the speed is down. I can come in a bit closer. I love that. And let's bring the speed up. Wrong way. Not quite true, which is, hang on, that's surprising. I'm pretty sure, maybe I know I did remount it. Let's carry on, let's true it up. There we go, following it round, a nice smooth curve. And I'm going to leave a little lip there because that gives me the opportunity to decorate that. So as I get up here to that lip, look how I'm closing the flute down. I do not, I'll turn it off, I do not want to come up here with the flute open and get this wing caught on there and have that swinging round in a very unprofessional way and rather alarming way. Right, let's get that in a little closer. Just bring it up a little too close. There we go. Let's come in on from the other end. I can zoom you in a bit from the tailstock one. So you can see it's a little bit torn grain there. So just going to tidy that up. And I'm looking across here to make sure that the shape is pleasing. Also, I want to get a nicer finish, smoother finish from the tool, so I can cut down a little bit on the sanding. I want to turn that around a little bit, I think. Down a slight bit. That's a better position. Now if you don't feel comfortable putting that shape on with the bowl gouge, you can of course use a scraper. Here I've got a square edge scraper. Just get that, put a fresh edge on it. There we go. And while I'm doing that, just have a quick look in the comments if there are any questions. A few other people have joined us. Hello Frederick. Ciao Matthias from snowy Switzerland. Oh, I wish we had snow here. And Wifey, Hodgepodge, hello. Andy Best, hello. Tommy, hello. Ah, oh, marvellous. Right, so with a scraper, of course, you need to pull your you need to have your tool rest up higher. So I'm just going to pull that up, get it to slightly above centre, and then I can use my scraper trailing. That's probably a little too high. Let's try that. Okay. Right, here we go. Right. A very light scrape. This is just refining. It's not really shaping. And you can see very, very fine ribbons of shaving coming off. Just bring it round to here. And similarly, just a light touch. Move my feet, get into position so you can make your cut. Oh, that edge is a bit sharp. And if I go overhead, should be able to see that that is a pleasing curve all the way round. It's probably a little flatter there than I would have liked. And a little bit of bruising there still, so let's Let's have a go with that. Blending it round. Okay. So, face shield off. Right, so it's time for some sanding. So, let's get on with that. And then before we get on to doing the colouring, an exciting bit of news that probably most of you, I hope, have already heard. But I'm going to be sanding, so I'll get my mask on and I'll turn the microphone down so that you don't have to put up with too much noise. Right, just bring the microphone back up. Right, so that's been sanded to 320, which is enough. I don't want to have it so smooth that it's not going to let any paint or ink attach to it. I do need to just clear up that foot because it was slightly out of true because it's been in and out of a chuck already. So just going to do that, and then the rest of the time we'll be playing around with colour. Hopefully you'll have some questions. Hopefully I'll have an answer to them. But I can't guarantee that I'll be able to answer all of them. Right, so just a little bit needed to come off there to get it true. Go a bit faster. And then it's important to have a flat here for the jaws to sit against. So I think that's a little bit more. Doesn't matter if I make it too small for the C jaws. I've got another set of jaws I can use. Right, there we go. So in terms of turning, that's about it for now. A few other people in tonight. That's lovely. Hi Derek. Hi Leona. Spinning Wood Dodger. And Sigurdur. Hello. any questions? Didn't notice any, but I'll just scroll up in the chat and have a look. If I were more organised, I'd have some earworms myself, wouldn't I? There we go. Hobby Turner, hello Hobby Turner, and Radio Face, hello. Hobby Turner Adrian, of course. Okay. Oh, thank you, Frederick. Loved your article in Woodturning. I was absolutely astonished to find that I made the cover for such a simple thing as well. Right, so what you're really here for is not to see turning so much as me messing about with colour, isn't it? So, off comes that bit of wood. We go to the overhead view again. I'm going to pull it out and get ready for the colouring. Now, I'm going to be having water on my lathe, which perhaps is not the most sensible of things to do. So I'm going to protect the lathe. I don't want any water getting on my lathe. It would have been more sensible to have set the cameras up over my bench, but my bench is a complete and utter mess. So I'm going to put that on instead. And a large blank. Now, this large blank, let's talk about that for a minute. The large blank that I've just put down on the lathe bed is going to feature next Saturday at 5 o'clock. Another live at 5, but on Saturday, not Sunday, and it's a ticketed event. Excuse me. I'll be taking part in a Woodturners retreat. Those of you who are perhaps watching from the other side of the Atlantic will probably be familiar with Ron Campbell and his Turners retreats, where he has a whole load of Turners and you can go and watch things in real life. Absolutely fantastic. Sounds amazing. I still haven't been to America yet, but maybe one day. Well, a few Woodturners got together and decided to try and do something online. Similar and in homage to Ron is called Woodturners Retreat. And it's going to be a weekend of wood turning, 5 p.m. UK time till 1 a.m. Sunday morning. I'm not going to be looking my best by then. Probably not looking my best by now. Some of you might be thinking, get rid of this barnet for a chance, maybe, for once. There is a link right at the very top of the chat to Woodturners Retreat, and there are links on my Facebook page as well. As I say, it is something that is ticketed, so it's there's an entrance fee. It works out, it's $20, which I think in English money is about £16 or so. Well, that's how much I got charged when I bought my ticket for the event that I'm going to be in. It was a way of getting some startup money, I guess. And for that, you get to see 6 demonstrators, myself and Chris Parker from the UK, and Cade Bolger, and Joanne Savageau from Canada, and Jeff Hornung and Todd Rains from the United States. And it's on Zoom, but unlike other online wood turning events there have been, I will be here for the whole 8 hours. And I'll have a room of my own in Zoom, and I'll do my demonstration twice. I'm demonstrating at the same time as Chris, so you can watch him and then watch me, or the other way round, or you can move between the 2 rooms at the same time. You'll have control of that. And then when I'm not demonstrating for the other 6 hours, I will be here to chat. I'll probably be doing something at the same time as well. I've got a few Christmas presents I have to make. So I'll be doing some of that. So all of that waffle is to say that this piece of wood is one of the pieces of wood that I'll be turning. So let's get on with that and get my water. Now, I have been kind to myself, and this is warm water. So going to need some kitchen roll, and also when this goes in the water, I need to be able to hold it. Now, because if I put my thumb on there, it's going to muck up the marbling ink. So, and I don't want to, I could hold it by the rim because I was going to let the rim go. But what I've done with the pieces that I've already prepared is to put a little screw in so I can carefully manipulate it into the water. Because what you want to do is to be able to get the water to cover the whole of the surface as it's going in. If I just plonk it in straight down, it's going to be a little bit hit and miss. But you can re-dunk. Double dunking is allowed, or even triple dunking. So let's see if something in the chat I see about compatibility chart. Is that what you've noticed behind me? The crazy graph chart. Yep, that has been answered correctly. It's compatibility. Oh, evening, Paul. Okay, now, so let me get my supplies. These are what I'm using. Easy marble. They don't need you to add anything to the water. You don't need any seaweed or wallpaper paste. You just float the colours on top and have at it. Now, some of you may have watched a lot of paint pouring. Alicia Epoxy Wood in the chat today has got some fantastic videos of paint pouring. Some very nice subtle ones. You can get some very vibrant, colourful ones, and I think Stuart has done some as well. Old Faithful. I've done one once and I didn't really like it, and I think you can probably guess why. It takes days for it to dry. Well, maybe a day. This dries much more quickly, and again, there's a link to these at the top of the chat. These are from Amazon, but I'm sure you can buy marbling inks anywhere in the world. So I've got these colours, and I'm going to start off. Let's make some space for them. Start off with some red. So just give that a little shake, and I'll come back over to the overhead view now so you can see that. Oh, it's nice. Actually, this water is quite warm. I can feel it giving off warmth. So I'm going to put a few drops in. And it will take quite a lot of colour to fill this surface area. I'm going to go for red and green to really see how that shows up. And they're festive colours, aren't they? So there's the red, and here's the green. Fred, the question, will the event be recorded so that if I buy a ticket it can be watched at a later point? Yes, each demonstrator at Woodturners Retreat will be recording their demos, and you will be able to see those demos, I think, for about a month afterwards. So just dripping this in. Now, if you've watched skillful masters or mistresses of marbling, you know, with the proper supplies, proper tools, proper medium to drop the ink onto, you can get some absolutely spectacularly beautiful patterns. I'm just going to get something that's going to be quite random, which is one of the things I find difficult actually with the paint pour. So let's start off. This is not the bowl that you saw me turn, but it is plain piece of wood. I think it's a piece of sycamore. I think so. Right, so I'm not going to drop it in like that. I'm going to put it in on an angle, and I want it to pull the colour. So I hope that you can see that it's swirling all of the colour, and as I go down and submerge it completely, it pulls all the colour off. And then up we come. Now I've got to leave that to dry a little. So it's covered very well here, but where there were gaps in the stain or in the inks on the surface, it hasn't really covered the wood, so I'd need to get a bit more on the surface. I think I was getting a little bit worried that you might all be getting a bit bored, not watching paint dry, but watching paint drip. Okay, so there we go. Oh yes, Paul, good suggestion. If I borrowed, yes, very loose term, the largest glass mixing bowl, I'll have to investigate that. Right, I need to put this down somewhere to dry. What better than to use another piece of wood to stand it on? Okay, so let's stick that out of the way. There is some colour left on top, and just going to try and gather that up. You can see it has a sort of stringy texture, and ideally you wouldn't use the same water again. I'm not going to keep going indoors and changing the water, so we might get sort of not the greatest of results. But as Wood Do just put in the chat, hydro dipping is another term you might have heard this by, and you can try any hydro dip, a lot of different medium. It doesn't just have to be this ink. So I've got here the lumpy black bit with lovely orange peel going on. Now I think I'm going to do this different colours. I'm going to go with yellow, and I'm going to go with white, and probably just stick those with those two. And you get that sort of random effect that you might get with a paint pour, but it'll dry much more quickly. I'm thinking about it. I don't have to put one colour in at a time, do I? I can put both at the same time. Half the time of you watching paint drip into water. Hi Richard, hello Bailey. Rattle cans work well too. I just happen to have some rattle cans. I haven't tried rattle cans on water yet. I think the white is a bit bunged up actually. Oh no, it's coming out, but it looks a bit clear actually. I think I'll stick with the yellow and get that covered. I've seen people do it with rattle cans. Now, if one of you in the chat says, yes, Stuart, you don't need to have anything in the water. You can just float rattle can paint on water. I'll believe you, and I'll give it a go. Oh, Martin, hello. Nice to see you. Okay, Adrian, the link to the marbling ink is the Amazon link that's at the very top of the chat. It's about the 6th or 7th bit of chat, I think. I might still have it on my clipboard on my mouse. Yes, I do. So there's the link again. Right, so the white really needs a good shake, I think, because it was just coming out as something, nothing really. So let's try again. Yes, it is going in white, but I'm not sure if it isn't staying on the surface. Yellow, white, and I think we'll go for some blue. That is a lot of yellow, Steve. Let's put some different colours in. But obviously this is going on black, so it's not going to show up quite as well. And you notice how the colours spread, and then where it looked like it was a lot of yellow, it's actually now rather a lot of blue. But based on what happened with the first one, where we had some gaps, I'm going to go for a bit more colour to try not to get those gaps, although actually this is going on to a piece of wood that is already covered anyway. Oh, and Leona, you've only done it with rattle cans. Went through a phase of it a little while ago. So did you put anything into your water, Leona, or did you just drip or spray the paint on? Let me know and I might give it a go, because I bought a set of new colours actually. That might be fun to try, and it'll be a bit quicker I think than getting all these drops. Is the white now showing up around the blue? Yes, it is. If I come in a bit, you can. If I just tilt that round slightly, I'll go in a bit closer. So you can see there we've got blue, we've got white, and we've certainly got a lot of yellow. That's probably a little bit too close, so let's come back a little. Okay. Now the idea with this shape is that I was going to do something different with the rim, so I'm not too bothered if it gets a bit messy. But if I'd not given myself only half an hour to get ready for this, I'd have got that a bit smoother. So one of the other things that I've seen people do when they do this with paper is to put a marbling comb through it. I've got various combs, but you can use your stick to pull through and mix up the colour a bit. And if you have a marbling comb, which is essentially a piece of wood with a line of spikes coming through it, and you move that across, then that gives you a very nice effect. Right, so here we go with that black, getting it in, turning it, twisting it, making sure it's all covered, and then as it comes out, now you can see there, I don't know if you saw that, there was a little line of the colour, but I think that will probably be okay. And those of you who are busy making Christmas presents, Christmas decorations, what a great way to decorate your baubles. Plain water, says Leona, but you can add a couple of drops of washing up liquid. You create cells, even better. Right, going to leave that a few moments to dry, but I think I prefer that. I love those colours, especially where the three of them are working together. It is a little lumpy in places, but perhaps that's what you get with cheaper marbling inks. I'm going to look good in school tomorrow, aren't I? Look at that. We're not allowed to wear multicoloured nails. Right, put that somewhere to dry. And let's see, a few questions. Dale Rowney, acrylic inks would work. Possibly. I mean, the inks that I'm using, I don't know if it gives a lot of information about them on the back. High gloss marbling paint, it says on the back. Marble effect on eggs, anything made of glass, plastic, wood, paper, other materials. Draw patterns, dip the objects into the water. So it appears to not be an acrylic product. High gloss. There's a gloss. Oh well. There's not a lot of information about it. Let's get that colour up. But you can see it makes a film. I don't know if you can see that. The little ripples of it. And just scoop that out. Looks quite nice on the card, on the roll. Paper towel. Get my bin a bit closer. And just wipe that last bit out. So it's only a short little live stream tonight because I know there are a lot of things going on. Pat Carroll's got his Meet the Turner tonight as well. And I've noticed someone often does a premiere at 6 o'clock on a Sunday. So I'm trying not to tread on anyone's toes. But it was about time I got back in the saddle, as it were. And yes, you may want to wear gloves doing this. So that's the slick cleared up. I'm sure you want me to try something live on camera for the first time without ever having done it before, don't you? So let's see. Somewhere in the back of the workshop, I have some cans of paint. Okay, so my new rattle can paint, some again, I think this is from Montana. The spray paints that I've used in the past, but I've upgraded to gold and a few nozzles, so let's get some of those out. So a few nozzles to try out, and the colours, I bought these colours to try and do a sort of autumn platter. You've seen this technique. I'll just put that on the overhead, where the paint is put on. Some of it seems to have a little bit like a sort of marbling effect to me. And it's very dusty, which is now all gone in the water, so that's going to add some nice texture. But that's a fun thing to do, putting layers of wet paint on and then pulling them off with a bit of newspaper. So I need to get these cans ready, give them a shake and get the nozzles on. So here we go, the rattle can dance. I can't do it anymore because my hair's too long, it gets in my face. Start eating it. There's a bit, look. Right. So, is there any advice in the chat? Let's see. They look great on ornaments. I've got to do all my nails now. Yes, Hodgepodge, I certainly have. Camouflage with GIs. Let's see. They might mix with the water, in which case I may have to rush indoors and get some washing up liquid. Right, let's put this on the overhead so that you can see that it sort of sits on the water. I'm going to have to put my vapor mask on and open the doors, but sound's going to be a little bit muffly. Here we go. Right. So I'm going to shake up the red while I'm spraying the yellow on. Now ideally you'd want a shallower, or you want the water nearer the top, because I can only get the paint in at this angle. And I bought various caps to go with the paint. I can't remember if these are the fine ones or not. Right, here's some red. Oh, now that's going in very differently. And I've got a brighter green. I thought I'd picked up a white. But I'll go with the brighter green. And they're a little bit cold as well, actually. So, last nozzle on. We should really shake these for 2 minutes. Oh, thanks Mark for having a look. Google says alcohol-based inks. Oh, I can wash it off with meths. Woohoo! Now, what do we reckon? Just do it as it is. Go for it. Do it on the bare wood. Or try my last bit of black. Let's see. Can't decide. Right. I think I'll go with the black first. Oh, holding my breath, not talking. Give that a little twist. Right, I missed a bit. Got a lot on my fingers. Too much green round there. This is the best bit, I think. But it behaves very similarly. Behaves very similarly to the inks. In that it creates this film, which you can just, oh, that's all right. That'll be all right. I'll be able to pick that off. And look at you all saying black after I didn't even bother to wait. How rude for me not waiting to see what you all suggested. Who is that man? Right, let's stick this on something to dry. Good fun. Right, going to clear that off. There's quite a bit of little flecks of the paint left. This is a bit harder to get off actually than the inks from the water. But that'll do. So I've only got one bit of wood left, but we've been going for 40 minutes anyway, so nearly done. Just need to get another screw, which I've managed to put in the most inconvenient place possible in my workshop. There we go. Screwdriver, well, drill driver. Just get a screw in there a little way. There we go. And for this one, I'm going to go back to the inks and going to have another go. Going to start off with some black. I think one of my favourite colour combinations is black and yellow. And I'm going to put lots of black in. I want to get this very covered. Ideally, I don't want to have to double dip it. So cover the surface with black. Then I'll come in with some yellow. And on the little sample boards I did, which I can't remember if they've been in an article yet in Woodturning magazine. I think they have actually, yeah, last month maybe, or the month before. Get some very nice, almost like cathedral grain effects going on there. That's what I'm going to try to do this time. So I've got a lot of black in. The black is came out very nicely. And some yellow now. And let that just drip round. And then I'm going to come back into those pools of yellow with another colour. The yellow is almost gone now. I think these inks cost about, I think they were about 13 or 14 pounds. Right, here we go. Am I a bee friend? I do like bees. We have a lot of bees in our garden in the summer. We grow huge lavender bushes that probably hang about 3 feet over the wall, in taking up a lot of garden space, but they're just covered in bees all through the summer. So we're doing our bit to keep bees alive. In fact, we had a beehive in a cupboard that I had, that I stored wood in outside, and we had to get someone to come and collect the bees, put them on free cycle. I'm going to put a bit more red in. I like the red. I'm going to put the red in. You're on the right camera yet. Into that black. And this will be the last dip, and then I'll show you the dripping specimens. And probably shouldn't say it, but I was about to say, so far no water on the lathe. Why did I say that? Does it need some green? No, I don't think it does, but I will put a little bit of white on. A little bit more sparingly. Yes, now interestingly, looking at that, it takes a little while for the white to form itself back again. I'm going to finish up this yellow, because I think there wasn't enough on the first go. There's not a lot of yellow left, surprisingly. The yellow is finished. Going to come into these white areas with a little bit more black. Now, I'm going to try. Oh, drat! Dropped a stick in there. Just now, you can see you can move it around a little, but I think perhaps because the water is hot, that's probably a mistake, because it does form this sort of little slick. So before I use it all up, mixing it up, here we go. Right. Get that stick off. And pull this up through the colours that are left. Have them running over it. I do like that combination. Now that has done a lot better, I think, round in terms of coverage. Leave that to drip somewhere else. And let's see if I come on to the workshop camera. So, hydro dipping or marbling inks. Here we go. This one I think is probably my favourite, and this is the blue and yellow ink. If I put it on the overhead camera, lighting's not great on there, is it? There, if I hold it down here, you can see. It's going to be a while till it's dry. I have got a heater on in here, but it's 60% humidity and 15 degrees warm. It does look very effective, actually, I think, on this top part, on the bare wood, because it allows some grain to come through as well. But I suspect that because the water was warm, that the ink was forming that film a little more readily than if the water was cold. But I didn't fancy putting my hands in cold water today. So let's see, anything else coming up in the questions in the chat? No, I can't see any, but if I've missed any, maybe post them again. So there's the blue and yellow. Here's the one that we started with. Red and green. Still looks a little bit manky, and it's a shame about the bare spots, but I think the second time got a lot better coverage. But if you just want to do lollipop sticks and have the fanciest swizzly lollipop sticks in the world, you can dip those as well, by the look of things. So that's that one. And then the last two. So the spray can paint, which I think needs a bit more work in separating out the colours. It was still fun. Pretty, well, I was going to say camouflage look around here maybe with that darker green. But I'd like to do a bit more work and playing around with that. A wimp. I am a wimp, Derek. You know me too well. A little cold water never hurt anyone. And then here's the last one. And possibly, once it's dry, where it's a little lumpy looking, you can see that, I think, picking up the fact that the shine is rather uneven. Could probably get away with a little bit of fine sanding, very fine micro mesh maybe. Brian, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Thank you. And look at that bit. That bit's beautiful. I mean, you could, I suppose, just dip bits of wood and then cut them up into the best bits and make something from them. But anyway, the last one, Leona, is your favourite. I think, having looked through all of them now, I think probably it's my favourite as well. But needs to be colder water and not get this, you know, there's a very lumpy, filmy bit there that when it's dry, I would need to do some cutting back on. But it's nice to have done a live again. It's been quite a while, and I'm hoping, just looking at the picture there, it's gone a little bit stuttery. Why is that? It says the stream health, excellent connection. Oh yes, the passengers on the Titanic didn't much like the cold water, that's true. Right, I'm hoping that it's playing fine for you now, just little gremlins in the system here. Now that's looking fine again now. So, Paul, I'm guessing you could double, triple dip. Yep, you could. I mean, everything's best double dipped, isn't it? Or, you know, chips especially. double fried. I really have ruined my hands for work. So let's see. You could apply this principle to pens, says Mike. Absolutely, you could do it with pens. Somewhere I actually do have some lollipop sticks. Oh, Andy, thank you very much for some gloves. Yes, I do need some gloves. I keep meaning to buy some Marigolds dishwashing gloves that will fit and not be chucked away after each use. So thank you very much. And thank you very much, Mary Alice. Lovely. That's very kind of you. Right, any questions coming up? Oil-based paints have a similar effect. Yep, pretty sure they would, Trevor. Pretty sure that they would. It looks like YouTube is saying it's not getting enough video to maintain a smooth connection. That must be something wrong with the internet, because everything's looking fine from my computer end anyway. Yeah, Trevor, oil-based paints. I suspect so. They would float on the surface. I guess they might be a bit thick at first. You might need to dilute them in some way. But as I always say, give it a go. See what happens. Sometimes you get something you like at the end of it. Sometimes you get an awful mess. Right. Have I taken up enough of your time? 52 minutes. Thank you very much, Steve. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and looking forward to seeing you at Woodturners Retreat too. When you see this bit of wood being turned into something a bit more beautiful than the dipping in water that you've seen this afternoon. So, Richard, thank you very much, Richard. Ben, what if you submerged the bowl first before the paint, then brought it up? Oh, if only I'd seen that question beforehand. I definitely would have tried it. But I suspect it would have gone all over my hand as I put my hand down into the water and pulled it out. I think what you'd have to do is have a bit of string that you could pull it up with. Brickhouse Craftworks. Didn't get to see the whole thing. Great stuff. Headed over to get Hodgepodge Live. Brilliant. Hope you have a good time there. Thanks very much, Fred. And good. Someone else liked to see me at Woodturners Retreat. That's brilliant. With the rattle cans, gloss, semi-gloss or matte, does it matter? I don't think it really matters. Montana Gold. This is a solvent-based nitro-acrylic quality spray paint. UV resistant, quick drying and weatherproof. Let's see. I can't see what it says. That's worked very nicely, I think. As I say, I bought them really for doing putting the paint on and then pulling the paint off. Right, so there. Thank you very much, Mike. Christine and Michael, lovely to see you there. Hope you have a good Christmas. Must get to see you again soon, we hope. Yes, you can use a medium like wallpaper paste to thicken the surface of the water. Doug, hello, hi. You've caught us right at the end, but the joy of doing a live on YouTube is you can rewind it immediately and watch it all. Thank you very much, Trevor. See you when you have had a haircut. I know they're open again, but I hate getting my hair cut. But I think the head is looking a little bit askance at me sometimes, especially when it's been 3 or 4 days and I haven't been able to get a comb through it without pulling chunks of it out. Thanks very much, Stuart. See you at Woodturners Retreat as well. Thank you, Sigurd, Andy. Thanks. Bye for now. Steve saying Doug has done a skull with the hydro dipping, so I'll be look out for that one then. But it looks like YouTube is wanting to kick me out with all this not receiving enough data. I don't know. Right. And yet Doug confirming that he did. So Doug, I will search your channel for that one. So thank you very much for joining with me. And yes, Doug, I do have a bit of hair left still to get cut. I think that's what I'm afraid of. If I get it cut really short, will it grow again? Thank you very much, Alicia. Great to see you. So I'm going to be hitting the end stream button in any second now, unless anyone's got a final question to ask. But if you do think of a question to ask, then get in touch. Send me an email, direct message me on Facebook. Did I sound like I knew what I was talking about there? Okay, right, the end stream button. 3. Oh, thanks, Leona. And thanks, Derek. Glad you enjoyed it. Right, I'm off for me dinner. 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.